So today we're going to, I'm going to be honest, but I'm going to be talking about Advance Wars, and I'm going to talk about which is better in my opinion. Advance Wars 1 or Advance Wars 2? Advance Wars 1 is actually not called Advance Wars 1. I just prefer to call it that way because it makes this easier. Also, this isn't scripted, but it is a little bit scripted because I got a list of notes, and that's about it. But yeah, moving on. I'll be talking about the good things about Advance Wars and about both Advance Wars games, and then the two other things and the other bad things about like both games. So I'll just get onto it. So I'm going to start out with subjective things when I talk about the things I like first. First, when I talk about the things I like, I'm going to go through the subjective things, things that don't affect the game's performance. So the first subjective thing I have that I like in the first game is just that I just have the preference for the city sprites. And the first game was more vibrant in color, so I preferred that. And when the battle sequence in the games, there was animations for facial expressions, depending how well their units did in battle. So I really think that they should have kept this in Advance Wars 2, but they removed it, unfortunately, which is actually one of the reasons why I don't like Advance Wars 2, but yeah. Another thing that I liked about Advance Wars 1 that is a bit subjective is that I feel like the character sprites were a bit more detailed because they had more shading and they were more vibrant in color. Okay, so I'll move on with the things that actually affect game performance in some way. So on my list, I say that there was more diversity of objective and levels. For example, these are usually the four ways you can complete a mission. You can root the opponent, you can capture the HQ, you can protect this unit, or you could last for a couple of days, or you have to destroy this enemy's units, basically, a certain unit. There was a lot more things, and capturing properties. So you see what I mean? That the first game had more diversity in the objectives. So the second thing on my list is that I feel like the first story for Advance Wars 1 was a bit more complex than the story in Advance Wars 2. I don't know, I feel like there was more mystery surrounding it when we knew about Clone Andy, but that's just my opinion. I mean, maybe people like the story in Advance Wars 2. To be honest, I find the story in Advance Wars 2 to be kind of boring. It's just the same thing. It's just black hole invading everybody. And I like throughout the game you get to fight different COs, so you get to see their different abilities, and I find that really fun. You just don't fight the same person all over and all over again. You fight different people, and I find that really nice. I think you at least pretty sure you fight more than 6 different COs throughout the entire campaign. And I do like that depending on which Orange Star CO you use in each mission, it depends who you're gonna get in the final battle, and I think it's just you feel that you earned the right to use them. And I think the tutorial is really nice before you start campaign mode, and to be honest, I think campaign mode is pretty fun. I've replayed through the game 3 times, and I think the final battle was very challenging and fun. Now I want to move on to the bad things. I only have 2 things on this list, but it's good to go over them. I don't like the repetitive use of the Orange Star COs. You get to use the same 3 people over and over again. You don't get to use other COs from other countries. Just found that kind of repetitive. And for those who unlocked Eagle, the mission Rivals. I am pretty sure most people do not like the mission Rivals. The map is unfair. It's not fun. It's literally by chance. It's just not a fun level. It's annoying. It really doesn't make sense, especially when it takes after the final battle. Do I really need to say more about that? It's just stressing me out, just talking about it. Okay, now I'm gonna move on to Advance Wars 2. So, okay, I'll start with the subjective things, of course. I think the sprite redesigns of Olaf and Kanbei are really good. I prefer them over the old sprites. And I think the Black Hole CO Super theme, Super CO powered theme, is really nice. I think it's a very nice. I don't know. I find it nice that they made it unique to them instead of just giving the same CO theme to everybody. Okay, now we'll move on things that actually like affect gameplay. Okay, first off, I would say the addition of Super CO powers are nice. I think that's a really cool addition on the game. I think missile silos are pretty decent. I think they're not that bad. Like they aren't like necessary, but I think it was a decent addition to the game. And I like how you get to use like different COs throughout the campaign and you get to play as them in your situations. I think that's really cool. So it isn't like repetitive like in Advance Wars 1. And I like how some levels you get to choose which ones. Like you don't need to like actually earn them throughout the campaign. And I think the addition of new COs is good. I think any addition of new COs would be nice. And about the addition of new tanks, it's like a meh for me. Like it isn't good and it isn't bad. It's just in the middle. Now I'm gonna go move on to the bad things about Advance Wars 2. So one subjective thing on this list is just the removal of like the facial expressions when they're like of like the animation for the facial expressions in the battle sequence. That's about it. That's the only subjective thing on this list. Now, I'm going to be moving on to the things that actually affect gameplay. I don't like how you keep like fighting against the same 4 COs all over again. Like Flak, Adder, Lash, Hawk, like the same COs all over again. And I feel like it's really tedious and repetitive. And then I think the addition of laser cannons, black cannons, and mini cannons are just annoying. Like they don't provide a challenge in my opinion. I just think they're annoying because in the second to last mission, you'll actually have to get hit by them so you can destroy them. So it's really stupid. I think the levels lack an objective diversity. Like basically like the only things I can think of is like you can route your opponent, capture it, or you deliberately have to destroy some of these cannons, or you have to hold out or something, or like complete something in a certain time frame. Like I feel like in Advance Wars 1 there's more diversity in your objective in mission. And it's not realistic how like when you destroy any of these cannons, like Black Hole like instantly retreats. Like it doesn't make sense. I'm pretty sure Black Hole is a pretty good military force, especially when they're based off of the old Germany, but alright. And I don't think they should just retreat after their weapon has been destroyed. I think they can easily hold off. Like, for example, the mission where you have to like save Sammy, like using Eagle, like they outnumber you. They outnumber you, and then you just destroy these 4 cannons, and then they're like, we gotta retreat. Like that makes no sense. Some missions are tedious, like the AI, for example. They have multiple bases and they have factories especially, and they keep deploying troops. Like an example of this is like the Great Sea Battle. Like your objective in that mission is to destroy the pipe. The pipe is literally located at like the edge of the map. That's way too far, and then they got like units blocking it. So it was so tedious. It wasn't even challenging. It was just annoying. Just did not like that mission. Oh, anyway, I feel like, okay, now I'm gonna go on with the final battle. I think the final battle in Advance Wars 1 is better than Advance Wars 2 Final Front. Final Front was way too easy. Honestly, it was way too easy. Like, I don't know if it's because like you get to choose any CEO you want, or like it's just actually because the map itself is not that hard. Like all you need to do is deploy or like buy a couple of infantry and bombers. Basically what I just did is I put Eagle in the middle because he has increased firepower for like air units. So I just use a bomber, and then mostly I just use Colin on the right side to bait the other units and like black cannons in like hitting his units, because his units are less expensive and they're weaker. So I could get Eagle's bombers to like destroy the death ray. It was that easy. Like it literally did not even take me that long. Like for final battle, it took me like a couple, like maybe 1 to 2 hours to like complete that mission. Yeah, literally, like, it just took me 1 or 2 hours. With animations on, it wasn't even... And it was hard, like, it was challenging, but it was fun at the same time. But I feel like Final Front was just way too easy, especially if it's a final battle. And it's kind of a joke, to be quite honest, because Sturm is really OP. Like, this dude, he's like, no, my death ray. But just because he lost his death ray, he can still launch a meteor at you. It makes no sense. He's way too overpowered, and he's like, no, my death ray. It makes no sense. This dude is OP, and he's relying on this one technological weapon. It makes no sense. He doesn't even have the ability to, like, use his ability, because it never charges it up. No one's gonna fight his units, because he's too OP. I think yeah, another thing, they didn't nerf Sturm in this game. They made it even more powerful, so nobody wants to fight Sturm head on. So, I mean, what can I say? It's just too easy. And people just want to avoid fighting Sturm because he's too OP. It just makes no sense, but whatever. Overall, both games are pretty good. It's just that I just prefer Advance Wars 1 because it has more personality, it's more vibrant, and it's more challenging in my opinion. And the last level was way too easy. Way too easy. I can't even deny it. I'm not even joking about that. Anyways, I guess that's it for this video. First time doing the commentary over something, but alright.